Great day like this, we usually go out maybe for a jog or perhaps just stay home doing some home exercises or maybe SKJ like we did before, right, Christy?
Or dancing on the dance floor because thank God it's Friday and doing some fun activities like that. And I'm sure that is not to mention good for one health and helpful in keeping us or them fit like everything else. So though there are always a risk for everything that we do, like a one wrong move or neglecting warm up could get us injured, right, Paul?
I can definitely attest to this one because sporting activities are one of the top causes for injuries. In fact, injuries mostly occur on our lower extremities, for example, our ankles, our knees, our hips, and perhaps our lower back. These are all common injuries that we hear of all the time, and pain is basically any unpleasant sensation caused by damage to the body tissues or joints. Now, impacts are not limited to physical, but emotional as well.
Yes, so today we are going to talk about pain management of the lower extremities to help you to know what to do in case of sprain or strain. And for that, let us welcome on board Rayi Ardhiani Rahiim, a physiotherapist from Functional Prehab. Hi, Rayi. Good morning.
Good morning.
How are you? Thank you so much for your time. I really appreciate it.
Thank you for having me, actually.
And welcome to the morning show.
Okay, yeah, so very good to have you on here. The reason we are focusing today on lower extremities is I assume because anything below our waist has automatically has more pressure on it, right? Because it's carrying our upper body and it's kind of absorbing impact when we do activities. A lot of people are doing home exercises, such as, HIIT exercises, and there's impact on our joints as well. So what are the joints that are most prone to injury?
Actually, there is the most joint that refer to injuries and everything like that. But yeah, we can say generally it's ankle and knees.
Okay,
I've
ankle
had
and
plenty of twisted ankles in my day.
Yes, Paul. So what are the first step if we have ankle injuries?
It's not only ankle injuries, actually the knees and hips injuries also. If we have any kind of that injuries, first time that we have to do is actually assess it. Because we have to know which part or what happened actually in that joint.
Okay.
So if it is about the tendon, if it is about the muscle, it's actually different.
Can we do that ourselves? Can we do self-assessment?
Yeah. I don't think that will do, but you can. Actually, it is possible for you to know that is it a simple one or is it the heavy one or anything like that. So the first thing you have to do is it there's any inflammation, redness, and also swelling, painful, because you have to scale your pain from 0 to 10.
It's always 11 for me. Every time.
It's an extra verbal, by the way.
Is there any open fracture that you can see the bones and everything? Yeah. But the rest, you have to go to the doctor and physiotherapist to assess it for more.
But what can do for the first help at that moment, especially for panic people like me? Is this guy, I don't know what to do. So what is the first help that you suggest to us?
Most of the time that people get injuries when we call it sprained ankle and everything, it's actually swelling and pain, right? So what you have to do first time is icing.
Icing, there you
actually, there's a word called RICE, R-I-C-E. There's R is for the rest, I is for ice, C is for compression, and E is for elevation. So actually, it's developing every journal. Ice, rise, price, P for the protection, and police. The difference in O and L. We call it optimal loading. So before it's rest, but now it's optimal loading.
What is optimal loading?
Actually, you have to give it a load. You have to exercise it, not really completely resting.
So you actually have to use it.
But the optimal one. So you have to know which load that is very safe for you. So you're not giving a passive rest, but an active rest. So it's not really passive.
Because if you don't use it, then it's just going to get stiffer and it's just going to keep swelling, right? You need to have the blood circulating. So I'm going to ask you, this one's always been, like from when we were kids, we were always told, put ice on it, compress it, and then lift it up high, right? Like, it's always told over the first 24 to 48 hours. Now, I want to ask you, what is the difference between an acute injury and, say, a chronic one?
Acute and chronic.
Yes.
Actually, acute is the newest one.
Okay.
And the chronic is actually the already long ago.
So what accounts for a chronic? How many times does it have to happen repeatedly? Let's say I twist my ankle, it keeps happening, let's say like a third time. Oh, it's apparently my right ankle is the weak one. Can that count as a chronic injury?
Yes.
Okay.
So what happened to us,
Yeah.
if we have a direct injury, actually it's mostly called acute injury.
Okay.
But if it is indirect injury, means if it is about your movement, habit, behavior, and then you feeling pain and everything, but it's actually not the direct injury. It's just you wake up and then feel like, or something happened on my back, or something happened with my knees. Why? I jog every day and it's okay, but one day I feel that something happened with my knees.
Right.
So it's actually not a direct injury, but it's indirect injury. Something happened and then it's called injury, but the chronic one.
Yeah,
Okay.
like you mentioned earlier, that there is some part like ankle, knee, and hamstring itself. So I want to ask you, Rayi, what is the best exercise to people who have an ankle injury, or maybe there is some exercise for knee and hamstring injury itself?
We'll start with the ankle first, because that seems to be a very common.
Yeah.
What would be a very some good exercise? I believe
Sure.
we have a setup here. Christy, you can go ahead.
I think you need more than me, so please go, Daddy.
Alright. So we have a mat and chair here.
So what would be the position? Sitting?
For ankle, knees, and hips, but mostly ankle, right? So what we have to remember is mobility, stability, and strengthening.
Right.
So it has to be mobile,
Right.
it has to be stable, and it has to be strong.
Okay, got it.
So for mobility, you can just sit over here, sir.
All right.
Wow.
Your first customer today?
Yeah.
Oh, my ankle.
Okay, so for ankle, what you can do is mobility, we call it ankle pumping.
Okay.
So you can strengthen both of your legs and then do the pointing and up here. And the pointing
and up.
That's for active mobility.
All right.
But sometimes we have tight muscles around our ankle, right?
Yep.
So we have to stretch it and everything. So probably you want to stand up.
Sure.
Okay, I'll show you the way how you might want to stretch your calf.
Okay.
Because it's part of the ankle, right?
Right.
So we want to move your knee over here in front of the chair here. Maybe you want to hold on it.
Okay.
Okay. The important one for you in this kind of position is your left ankle has to be moved a little bit inside.
Outside.
Yes.
Okay.
Inside. Sir.
Inside.
Yeah.
This
Make
way.
it straight. Make it straight.
Straight. Okay.
Yes.
All right.
And then straighten your knees.
Yep.
Heels on the floor.
Yep.
And you move your
Body forward.
pelvic down.
Oh, I can feel it.
Can you feel it?
Yep.
Yeah.
I can feel it on my calf back here.
But maybe if you want to try to move it outside a little bit
This?
and then move forward, you cannot feel it that more,
Yeah, no.
isn't it?
No,
Yes.
yeah, okay, so I
So
don't-
that's the difference.
Okay.
Yes.
All right. All right. Is that how you do a proper calf stretch, by the way?
Yes.
Okay. See, a lot of people are doing this wrong. I've seen people do this at the gym.
Simple, yeah, it's a simple movement, but a
All right.
powerful effect. But Rayi, that is for ankle injury, right?
Sure.
So how about the knee injury? There is some simple exercise that you can show us right now.
Sure. So actually, every joint has a natural function. Actually, hips is actually the mobility one.
Okay.
Our knees are the stability one,
Right.
and ankles are the mobility one.
Okay.
So if we talk about ankle, we'll talk about lot mobility, and also stability is not less important, but mobility is the important one.
Right.
But for knees, we will have to stabilize it.
Okay.
So what we do is like squatting, deadlift. Maybe you are so.
Yes, he is.
You can do everything about that, right?
That's what I have for breakfast. I have deadlifts and squats for breakfast yesterday.
But actually, if we are talking about stability, it's isometric exercise.
Okay.
And also balancing.
Ooh, okay. So it's
got a
that
problem
letting
with
the knee
balance.
work to stabilize my body.
True.
Right now. So standing on
And
one
it
leg.
works with your ankle, also your hips, like that.
So what does this show? Does it show that my stability is weak? Because it's hard for me to...
I cannot say that. It's not the weakest one.
Okay.
Actually, you're just not used to it. You know?
Right.
So our body is not only about our physical, but also our mind and our habit, behavior, and everything. It's actually, if we are used to this kind of movement, you'll work with your muscles.
She's like a flamingo. She just lifted her legs. She didn't even move.
You have to trying using with this kind of heels, Paul.
Yeah, that's true.
I'm sorry. I'm trying to. Wow.
So the hips are a complicated whole thing because there's so much range of movement and everything.
Yes.
So you're saying this is more of a mobility. Are there exercises for you to help strengthen and to be able to heal from any sort of hip injuries?
Hips, like hamstring injuries and everything, isn't it? Yes. Actually, again, mobility, stability, and strengthening. For mobility, for warm up, we have to do the dynamic stretch. Like when you do the stretch for hamstring like this. For some people tend to do the static one, isn't it?
Right.
Okay.
But actually for warm up, it's actually good with dynamic stretch because we have to
move
and prepare for the movement that we want to do.
Okay. And it warms you up while it's loosening you up at the same time, whereas static stretching would be for after your exercise, right?
And also mobility.
Yes.
Yeah, that's why warming up is very important for all the people who do active exercise like you, and it's very wonderful.
Yeah.
Okay, I can't. The simple.
This is actually very good for you. Sometimes I've had a friend who does this, and his hips make a noise, like it clicks.
It's a beautiful.
So I'm like, maybe you should get that checked out. All right, so how do we reduce the risk for any of these injuries so we prevent having to do these to begin with?
First, warm up.
Okay.
And then do the mobility.
Yeah.
And do the stability, like the balance and everything. And also, don't forget the strengthening.
Okay.
The lower part, you have to give it a load.
Yeah.
Squat, deadlift, bridging. And then maybe, can I try the mat one?
Sure.
Right.
Okay.
So, all right. If we would like to lay down on your mat, and then you do like this, the mobility one.
Okay, the mobility.
And then bridging. Push your back down, and then
Glute
up
bridge.
here.
Okay.
And squeeze your glutes.
Ooh.
Yes, it will help a lot of strengthening around your core and the lower parts.
So that's not just for the glutes.
Not just for the glutes.
Oh, very nice.
And also the leg raise.
Leg raise, okay.
And
that's
also
3 or 4?
Yes, double leg raise.
Okay.
It helps also the tibialis anterior over here, the muscles around your shin.
Really?
Muscles around your hips, the quads, we call it quads, right?
Right.
Yeah.
Quadriceps, yes. And also, you can do the stretching and everything.
Right.
So we can do a lot of things to strengthen and also to mobilize and
See, I always thought leg raises
Stabilize
were just for getting a six-pack, but see, there's actually a much deeper, more important reason.
You know, Paul, I see, right? You're doing it, and I feel healthy. I'm just like, whoa, so wonderful.
Yeah, so, and I think we don't put enough importance on warming up dynamic stretching because a lot of people, when they get to the gym or get to class, they get there 2 minutes before, and I want to just jump in and do my exercise. And because it is a bit time-consuming, but it is a very important part of any kind of physical activity that we want to do, right?
True, yeah.
So I'm just curious. You show the simple movement, how to treat people about their injury, and I'm just curious during the COVID-19 era, which is people maybe it doesn't come to your place, and how you treat them and how you make them heal from the injury.
Around pandemic.
Yeah.
Actually,
during the pandemic.
we're still open with the mask and everything, so it's actually safe.
PPKM era, you are still open?
Yes.
People can, okay.
Yes.
People are still getting injured throughout this pandemic, by the way.
So there is no problem. There is, but it is possible to do the exercise and you teach them during, with online? It is
of course, possible actually.
Okay.
But you know that for some assessment and everything, it's actually, it's best to see one-on-one. It's like you're doing the consultation with the doctor and everything. But still, it's very possible because we have to talk and communicate two parties, right?
Okay.
From me and the client and the families and everything, and also the doctor. We have a team with a doctor. So yeah, it's very possible.
We left out one. Hamstring.
Oh yeah,
hamstring is quite a common one because we're talking lower extremities, we're talking about the knee, the hips, the ankles. How about hamstring? Because sometimes you get people who pull their hamstring. Either from not warming up properly, and although we don't, out of sight, out of mind, we don't really see, or we don't think we use our hamstrings, but our hamstrings are an integral part of our lower extremities. So how do we get over something like a pulled hamstring? Because it's not really a joint.
Yeah, it's actually muscle. It's actually the muscles on our back of our hips.
Yes.
So it's actually the long muscles, but when we do the sport and everything, sometimes, as you said, it's pull because a cramp or torn.
Yes.
Okay.
Right? So mostly it's cramp around the running and cycling and everything. So what we can do is make sure that it's warmed already before you do the exercise or training.
Yeah.
Sure.
But outside of that running and cycling and the exercises, you can do the mobility of your hips.
Okay, so that's connected.
Yes, it's actually connected from our pelvic to our knees. So our knees actually just do the mobility and stability. Our hips just do the strength and stabilize the glutes. So we call it kinetic chain.
Yes.
Kinetic change.
Because our body is chaining. So from our muscles around our upper is actually also connected to our lower part.
Wow.
So everything is all part of one chain.
It's a connection,
right? So something that you do to your ankle could have an impact. If you overcompensate on one side, it could have an impact on something else along the line, if you will.
And remember that the movement that you do like this, for some people, they can feel until their hamstring.
From the calf stretch.
Yes.
Oh, wow, okay. So
it depends.
Yeah,
depends on people
stuff.
who really do exercise and not really do exercise.
Oh, you do exercise. You're just shy about it. But I take it from someone, I have an ongoing injury right now, and it is something that is very hard for us to identify ourselves. That's why it's best if you do feel like you have kind of a nagging or a chronic injury, it's best to see a professional, seek professional help with a physiotherapist, because they can actually give a proper assessment so they know what the steps going forward will be. So you don't because you could be making it worse. Like sometimes I'm doing things to compensate thinking I'm making it better, but I'm actually
of course. And Rayi, thank you so much.
So I'll be coming to see you soon next week.
Thank you.
Thank you for showing us how to heal it, and good luck for functional prehab plus, right?
Yes, functional prehab. Thank you.
Yeah, all right, guys.